Welcome to Funky Junk Inspiration. My name is Christy. I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and don't forget to ring the bell to get all notifications of new videos. Today is Stencil Sunday, a playlist collaboration. DIY number 1. All right, you guys, I am going to take this board with this live edge on it. And as you can see, the little bit of green on there, it did have something else on there at one point, and I sanded it off because I love the board. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Valspar antiquing glaze down the center of this board. My idea was I wanted it to be kind of dark so that I could put snowflakes on there. But then I was concerned because what I'm getting ready to put on there, I need to do black. So you'll see here after I get done putting this antiquing glaze on, I do go in with some white paint and kind of chippy it up with some white paint. And stay tuned because I even change it after that. But isn't that pretty with that Valspar antiquing glaze? I absolutely love this stuff. I do get it at Lowe's. I think you can get it on Amazon and stuff too. But I just want to get it a little bit dry right here. That way when I put the white on top, it doesn't mix with the antiquing glaze. Okay, so now you can see I'm going to be using this light that I'm going to be putting on this board. I absolutely love this stencil. It's beautiful. Essential Stencil also has a large one that can go on a 5-foot board, I believe it is, maybe 4 foot. But this is just a short one. I think it's probably 12 inches tall. But I absolutely love this stencil. But I was just checking it out because I want to make it look like it has a light coming out of there. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to dry brush some white paint on here. All right, so as you can see, I'm very fast at dry brushing. I'm just kidding. I wish I could dry brush this fast. Anyway, so I am just going to get some white paint on here so that when we put that street lantern, I guess you would call it, I'm not sure what you would exactly call that lamp. But anyway, I'm going to do it black because traditionally I think of them as being black. So I needed a light background so that that kind of popped out there. So that's what we did there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my unicorn spit out. If you don't know what unicorn spit is, you are missing out. Unicorn spit is a very vibrant colored gel stain. Okay, and it's got lots and lots of pigment in. I absolutely love using unicorn spit. I do use it on a lot of projects. But anyway, so I'm just kind of making it yellow right here, making it kind of look light. I wanted to add a little bit of orange. We did the yellow. Now I'm going to put a little bit of orange. And if you'll see, I'll go back in a little bit with the yellow back on top, just kind of making it so that it looks like there is light coming from where a light would be in that lantern. So that's what we're working on there. I wanted some more yellow on here. Now, I'm going to say this. When you put the antiquing wax down and then you try to paint over and then you try to use like the stain, it's sitting on top. So that's why I went over it multiple times to get it covered like that. Now, as I was sitting there looking at this, I had decided that I would get the white unicorn spit out. And we're just going to, where I dry brushed that white paint on, I'm going to just kind of get that stain in there. Just kind of mix that all together just so it's kind of, I don't know, cloudy, dusty, something along those lines. So it looks kind of like there's snow. Like there's snow on the ground, snow in the atmosphere, and stuff like that behind there. So I changed my mind 3 times on that background, but, that's what happens. So anyway, so now we're going to get this good and dry right here before we start stenciling. And this stencil is a 3-part stencil from Essential Stencil. It is a stencil from last year's Christmas collection, so I'm sure that they still have some in there. I will tell you this, if you go to Essential Stencil and you use the code Funky Junk, all one word, you can save 10% off any order that you make. And of course, it's an affiliate link, and that helps me out a little bit too. All right, so now we're just going to use chalk paint here. Now, normally when you watch me stenciling, I go around in a circle like I am right here. But at the bottom there, because those real small bridges, I did kind of go up and down, trying to keep the bridges where they needed to be. Now here I'm just using a couple pieces of cardstock to help me get the black on the lantern part. Here in a minute, you're going to see me tape up the stencil a little bit so that I don't get paint where I don't need to have paint. Okay, but see how nice and vibrant that showed up there. And I think that looks really good so far. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to our red paint because, of course, we're going to need red paint on that cardinal and on that bow. Now, the red paint that I'm using is Rust-Oleum chalked paint. It comes in a quart. I buy it at Menards, and then I put it in the FIFO bottles. I like to use paint in quart size because it ends up being cheaper. You get a lot more paint for that. Now, I am off camera on here, and I do apologize about that. I should have slid my board down, but of course I didn't, you know. But anyway, there's a little cardinal up there that we're going to paint red. So I'm just kind of moving some stuff around, and I flipped some red paint everywhere. So move my stencil, just the typical funky junk inspiration, craziness happening. So anyway, so here I am doing a little bit more taping off. You can use the cardstock or you can use the tape. Either way works. Sometimes it's a little easier when you tape stuff off than to try to hold the cardstock on there. So that's why I chose to do that here. Actually, I'm using both, actually. So we got our little cardinal up there. Now, our little cardinal, I ended up going up and putting a little bit of black on his head, you know, towards his back feathers. Here in just a few minutes, you'll see me do that. And just to make it look a little bit more like a cardinal. And, of course, our red bow here. But I didn't want to get red paint on those snowflake spots there. That's why I did the taping of the snowflakes. Now, I'm not going to worry about putting the little flakes of snow and stuff on there because we already have a white background. Okay, so I like how that looks. And see how that yellow makes it look like there's light projecting out of there. Right here is where I did that with the cardinal. I put a little bit of black up on his head. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over. Since this is 3 layer, I'm going to grab layer 2, and we're going to put the holly on here. And we're going to use a green color for the holly. I believe it's called Evergreen by Deco Art. And when I first went over that, it really looked light to me. I didn't like how light it looked. I almost stopped right there. But I decided I would go ahead and do the whole thing with the green. And then to get that green to be a little bit brighter and a little bit darker, what we're going to do after we get this green on here, we're going to come back in with white, and then we're going to do the green again. Because if you put a white base underneath some of your colors, it will make them pop a little bit more. So that's what we're going to try to do here. Plus, where it goes across the lantern, there in the middle where it is black, that'll help cover that up so that green really will pop up on there. So, and as you seen me a minute ago, I touched the stencil where there aren't, any holes to stencil. I did that just to check to make sure I didn't have a blob of paint on my brush is why I did that. So anyway, so we're going to dry that a little bit here. Be careful when you're drying across the top of your stencils like this because you can warp your stencil if your stencil gets super hot. So just make sure you keep that dryer moving and stuff. Okay, as you can see here, I was a little disappointed. I thought it would really come out really a darker green, but it's still showing up as a light green, but I think it's going to be okay. I think we're going to be just fine. I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful no matter what, because the stenciling makes us have very simple, beautiful projects very easily. So there we go. There we got a little darker right there. Okay. So, oh, yep, I like that. So see how that looks right there? And see, you can see where that where it crosses the black post there. You can really see it now. Whereas before, just the green on there without the white under there, you couldn't see it a whole lot. So anyway, Just drying that up a little bit. Now, layer 3. Now, layer 3 is going to be our little holly berries. Of course, they're going to be red. So we're just kind of lining that up there. These stencils have the shape of the previous stencil. So like this stencil, it has a shadow or an embossed part of like that light post there. So you can line everything up just perfectly. Oh, didn't that turn out good? Look at that. I love that. Look at the holly. That red just really pops out of there. And it does look like that light is shining. Let's go to DIY number 2. Okay, number 2 is a stencil. It is also from last year from Essential Stencil, and it's about Santa's magic key. We all know the story about if you don't have a chimney, Santa needs a key to get in the house, and this is a fun sign to actually hang a key on, and for kids to know that that's how Santa still gets in in their house. So anyway, I'm going to use this Barn Red Minwax water-based stain. I love this stain. I use it in a lot of projects. What's nice about it is it's water-based. It's not oil-based. You don't have to worry about your rags or anything like that. But the most exciting thing about it is you can get this in almost 200 different colors. You can have it colored just like you do paint. So I love it. You can get it just about anywhere, and they do have some basic colors. There's a black, this red, that are already mixed. So if you just needed to pick up those colors, but you can get pink and purple, whatever you want. I absolutely love the Minwax stains. Okay, and see how pretty that looks on that board. You can see all the grains and everything on the board. Okay, so we're going to get that dry right there. And now we're going to slap this stencil on here. Okay, it says, here you will find Santa's magic key for our house without a chimney, Santa's key. And I think this is so pretty. And I'm just going to do black. We're just going to go over the whole thing with black. And it'll just really pop, especially on that red, Now, obviously, this stencil is made for like a rectangle type of board. But, you make stuff work the way you want it to make it work. So I'm putting it on this round here. This round is 14 inches, and it is an 1/8 inch round. That's what I usually use for my door hangers on the front of my front door because they're lightweight, and it gives you plenty of room if you do end up putting a bow on something. Gives you a little bit more room to get the bow between your door and your storm door. Okay, so I was thinking about the key. I'm going to go ahead and do the key because I think we're going to come back in with a gold or a copper and go over the key and make it kind of look like it's tarnished. Okay, I think this is so pretty. Now, right here, I am contemplating getting this stencil out that has a bunch of snowflakes on it. And because I was thinking to myself, you know what? I needed to put snowflakes down before I did the whole thing. So I thought I was going to just go over it with snowflakes and then lay the stencil down and re-stencil again. But I decided I didn't like the snowflakes being in a line like they were on there. So I decided just to hit the snowflakes that are actually on this stencil that I'm originally using. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep moving it around and put all the different snowflakes, different spots all over this stencil right here. Now, as I was doing this project, I was really looking at it and I thought, what would be really cool is if we did this door hanger and we actually put like a black belt, like Santa's belt across the center of that right there and his little belt buckle, and then maybe not stenciled the key on there and just used like a real key, to hang like a tag with a, like a skeleton key type thing on there. That would be really pretty too. So just different, there's 500 different ways to use one stencil, 100 different ways to use it, So anyway, that's what we're going to do there. There's also 2 other keys on this stencil that are absolutely beautiful. See them right there. So you could pick whichever key that you wanted to use, or, you could put all 3 keys on there if you wanted to. So here I am laying the stencil back down, and I picked out this, I believe it's copper, you guys. that I'm going to go over the key with, just to make it really, pop and look tarnished and antiqued and pretty darn awesome. Usually the metallics I put white under, but I thought it would be kind of fun to put the black underneath. So see how shiny that is up there? Okay, so of course we need to frame in our sign. We always frame in. I use a dark color. I started to use the copper around the outside edge, but it just wasn't going to show up. So I decided to go with the traditional black and use it all around the edges. So here we go around the edges. Now I'm going to tell you guys this. I do not have holes in this board to put a hanger yet. Okay. I was running out of time. I'm just going to be dead honest with everybody. I was running out of time because normally I will drill 2 holes in, and then I usually use wire for my hangers. That way I can put something on one side and another thing on the other side and make my project double-sided, and I can just flip it around. There's nothing on the other side of this board, so what I will probably be doing is in the next week, I'll be putting something on the back and I will drill the holes. Okay, so right here is the finished project of our first DIY. I love it. I love it. And here is the second one with the Santa's key. Now, both projects I may end up putting a bow on, but I haven't decided yet. Okay, so stay tuned for Stencil Sundays. We will be having these once a month, possibly. Stay tuned for more information on that. Again, this is Funky Junk Inspiration, and I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that bell to get all notifications. Thank you.